All right, welcome. This one's going to be a quick video as I'm working on a much larger video for WPCFM. Hello, Reed. This one is going to be how to get a database off of the Pantheon platform. For those of you that may know, I used to work at Pantheon. I was a senior onboarding manager there, working with customers, onboarding them onto the platform, doing all the training. And then I moved over to a new role called Web Ops Consultant, where I worked with much larger enterprise customers, working with their developer workflow from the pre-sales through going live. And then I was hit with the third round of layoffs. Here I am. So one of the questions I commonly had while I was at Pantheon was people were like, hey, how do I get a copy of my database? How do I get a backup? And there's a couple of very simple ways, and I just want to cover them. I had this video out, but it was removed. Thought I'd redo it. I thought there was like 8 ways to get the database, but I kind of wish I would have been able to save that video because I can't quite remember all the ways now. But we'll cover a couple of them. One thing I do want to talk about, this is Pantheon specific, this video. If you're using Pantheon, or if you're familiar with Pantheon, or if you're curious about using Pantheon, this might be for you. It's going to use a couple of tools. One, it's going to use a local development tool. In this case, I use Lando. I do both Lando and DDev. I'm thinking about doing a video on Lando versus DDev, 2 go in the octagon, 1 come out kind of thing. We'll see how that plays out. But it also uses a tool called Terminus. Terminus is Pantheon's command line tool for connecting to the platform, for do everything from merging code, deploying to various environments, moving the database and files, or creating backups. You can also run WP CLI commands or drush commands against your various environments. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, one of the questions I had was, hey, how do I get my database? How do I get a copy of my database? Let's cover that. One thing we should cover right off the bat, as I mentioned this a couple times, this is Pantheon specific. If you're new to Pantheon, or if you're considering Pantheon, I highly suggest going in and creating a free sandbox account. You get a dev and a test environment. You get a multi-dev. You get the use of the tools, the common tools that you can use for a full site. And this is what you'll get. You'll get a dev environment. You get a test environment. You'll get a multi-dev. Dev is your main branch. They think they still call it master branch. But yeah, dev is your main branch. Multi-devs are branches off of main, but each multi-dev has its own independent database and asset container so that you can create features, you can test updates, you can train people without affecting the rest of the site. It's a great training tool. And so when you are ready, you can then merge code from a multi-dev into dev and then march it up the chain from dev to test to live. I'm not going to go, this is not a Pantheon 101. We're not going to go into that. What I wanted to show you is this right here, backups. We can set up a schedule if we wanted. Of course we can't because we're a free account, but we can create a new backup right here. If we wanted to get it, we just hit the download, direct download, and Bob's your uncle. That's all fine and good, but let's take this one step further. If we're going to create a backup, it's going to create a backup of the code, the database, and the files all together. If you want to restore, you can't independently choose what you want to restore. It's going to restore all 3 of those elements into the site. And that's where Terminus comes in. This way we can define what we want to back up and what we want to restore. So if we type in Terminus, we'll get a list of our commands. And we've got quite a few in here. And I'm running a few extra plugins, so there's probably a little bit more than normal. But if I were to run this against a, grep backup, we're going to come up with the backup create. So we can do Terminus backup create, and then we're going to do cfm demo.dev, because we're going to do this against the dev environment, cfm demo.dev. Element equals db. We should create just a database backup. There it is. You can see the little spin right there. You can click on the workflow. It's crunching away. Usually takes a moment. But the nice thing about this is that when we're creating a backup, we're just creating the backup of the database. We're not having to worry about everything. And right now, it doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of content on here. But you get some large sites out there, you get a lot of content. This takes a while. And for the sake of time, you may not want to back up all your files. All right, so I'm still running. The next thing we're going to do is the backup get. Oh, did it run? Let's refresh the page. There it is. That looks really small. Let's run that again. Let's refresh again. Huh. That looks really small. All right. Let's do this. Terminus backup get cfm demo.dev. We're just going to do that. And it's going to come back with a link, which is fine. But it's what basically it's going to take the last backup that we did right here. Now, one thing we can do is element equal db. We'll just grab the database, and this will come back. You can see there's our .sql gzip file. That's fine, but I want it local. I don't want to have to click on this link and go. So this is what we're going to do, --2 equals, and let's just, whoa, that's the wrong 0. 2 equals dot meaning the directory, current directory that I'm working in. And there it is. I lost myself. CFM. All right, so let's do gzip minus d cfm demo. How big is it? Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We can also Terminus wp cfm demo. You can see I've already been typing some of this stuff in. Let's run this. What we're going to do is going to run a wp CLI command against the site. Now the site's going to be like, whoa, we're in Git mode here, so you got to be careful. We can't just install plugins. We can't, enact any changes in the code base because it's in Git mode. But if we were to grab database, we can run the search, then we can also run basic credentials. So let's just do db. We're going to run command against the database. We'll see what the commands that are available. Here we go. Clean, check, CLI, commands, export. Right here, db export. Now what this is going to do is it's going to export the database. This is great if you want to exclude specific files. Obviously you can run exclude right here. Caveat, again, we are in SFTP mode. We cannot, if we run this, it's going to come back with an error. Let's just let's run it for kicks and giggles, right? DB export. Error, right? Can't do anything with the code. Now, what we can do is Terminus grep connection. Let's take a look at our connection. Connection set. This is where we can set the SFTP or the GET. Now, we can just do it here. We just click the button. But if we want to automate this, right? If we don't want to, like, we want to grab the database, we want to update the database, we want to update a plugin, we want to do it. Let's say we want to tie with that script. Let's say we want to tie that script to a command in Slack, right? So we go to Slack, site update, site install, plugin. It'll fire off these Terminus commands and run automatically, allowing you to not have to go into the platform or go into your site and enact the change. This might sound trivial, like why would you bother doing that if you just have one site? But if you've got a dozen sites that you're maintaining, that's where the automation starts kicking in, right? So we can do termination, connection set, CFM, demo.dev, SFTP. I'm going to set it to SFTP, and then we can run the DB export. When we run the DB export, it'll dump to the directory, and then we can SFTP it down locally. A couple of extra steps in there, not really conducive to a good time for grabbing the database, but it allows you. This is here to show you the power of automation. You definitely want to set SFTP if you're going to be updating or installing plugins. That's where this comes into play. So that's really about it. This is, again, this is probably what, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, nothing, real quick hit. I've got some bigger videos coming up, but I just want to throw this one out there just to start planning that base knowledge, because we're going to be revisiting Terminus and some of these other tools again shortly. I've also got a couple of other hosting companies that I've got accounts set up. I'm going to be doing those as well there. But again, if there's anything you want to see, anything of interest that you're curious about, let's see if this is refresh. SFTP. So let's go to our DB export. Again, anything you want to see, just put in the comments, and I'd love to cover it. Again, I'm looking at a Lando versus DDev coming up. Obviously, the CFM demo. We're looking at doing a WP CFM demo, especially on Pantheon and dumping and merging code across different environments. But if there's anything you want to see in particular, let me know. That's about it. All right. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.